So, a couple changes to Dungeon Defenders. One, a new hero after 11 years, and more importantly, an FPS sort of unlock slider thing. Before the game was locked to 60, and now it can be unlocked to 120, which is very nice. And there is a new map as well. May as well go there to demonstrate. I'm not sure if this is an internal development hero and map or if it's the community team. I don't think it's said in the patch notes, which is a bit unfortunate. Also, the trendy logo is gone from the game launching. It's now the Chromatic Games logo, which is fine, although a lot of the trendy stuff is still in the game, as in the crystal skin and the secret room, which it's probably for the best that didn't change. Anyway, rather nice looking map, pretty simple. 2 crystals. Spawns are pretty rapid and fast. And that will do for a showcase, I guess. Anyway, the next stuff will be the hero's abilities. One of them already feels a bit redundant, but we'll get to that soon. Firstly, there's the seed bomb. It's very slow firing and applies poison. Poisoned enemies will explode on death, I believe. It does a decent amount of damage, but the rate is just so slow. This is around 1k stats, just for demonstration purposes. Next, this is probably the only useful tower this hero has. It's basically a wall that will web enemies when they walk through it. So a vastly more efficient version of the spider, if you need to web masses of enemies. It might be good on the Ogre Rush version of the map. The only advantage spiders have now is their range and the ability to web flying units. What's next? Probably the pylon. It basically just increases range and resistances, although it doesn't stack with the tower buff beam. So, as I showed earlier, if you place the first tower there, it won't reach the target dummy. However, with the buff, it will. Unfortunately, it doesn't buff damage, so it's a bit irrelevant, as you can get the same effect from a buff beam that's leveled up once. The only difference is you don't get the resistance buff, but that's, entirely irrelevant. And next there's a spore. This basically works like sarin spores from Warframe. Once an enemy is infected, the spores will spread when it takes damage, I believe. Or it could just spread automatically. Yeah, I think it just spreads automatically, which is nice. And finally there's a golem. It seems like a minion, although it's not movable. It's effectively a tower. And it does buff and heal about 5% of max HP every 3 seconds. And it does have 90% damage reduction. I'm not sure if that's included in the AoE, if that's applied solely to heroes or to towers as well. But it does hit extremely hard. If I fully upgrade it and then place a buff beam on it, you'll see a bit of how ridiculous this thing can be. It is still slow, and I don't believe the projectile was AoE, it's just single target. I could be wrong on that though, but from the small amount of testing I did, it is single target, or a paired single target. Yeah. This Eevee has about the same stats as the Hermit. Yeah. Loads of damage. And the buffs are nice as well. The only downside to it is that it is very expensive in terms of DU. The Hermit uses monk weapons, which is probably ideal, and it can use shields as accessories. The one is basically a poison. And they do pass through enemies. The second is a buff that adds poison damage and gives you regen. And the two is a spinning attack instead of the regular monk weapon ranged projectiles. But the melee is still the same. Anyway, that probably covers everything, so I'll end it there.